What's up, everybody? As you can tell by the sound of that old school beat, it is time for another episode of What the Heck Happened? Tom Explains. So, this question comes from Josh Grady. He actually posted this on Facebook. And he asked, in the world of Star Wars, what does a purple lightsaber mean? Before I look up any absolute evidence or information related to that question, I'm going to give it my best shot and explain from what I know of Star Wars and lightsaber colors. So this could all be BS, but from what I've read and what I've learned in the movies and the novelizations and the novels, the other side stories in the Star Wars universe, the video games and so forth and so on, blah, 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 this is what I understand of lightsaber colors. Well, with the purple one, let's start with that first. The purple one, the very simple and clean answer is that Samuel L. Jackson asked to have a purple lightsaber. Purple is his favorite color, and he wanted a color that would stand out from the other Jedi, especially in Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, when they're all fighting in the Geonosian Stadium. All those Jedi arrive, and they're fighting against all the droid armies, and there's a bunch of green and blue and gold, yellow, whatever you want to call it. Well, Samuel L. Jackson wanted to stand out with his purple saber. And that's the simple answer right there. He just wanted a purple saber. But I believe I have read or seen or played in a video game something. It may come from Star Wars Galaxies, which was an online multiplayer game where you actually created a character and lived within the Star Wars galaxy yourself. That game was released by Sony Online Entertainment. I played it for too many hours. But I can remember that you could actually build your own lightsaber if you found your way to the path of a Jedi or Sith. So that's this reason or definition may come from that. I'm not really quite sure. I'm going to look it up after I blabber my nonsense. A purple lightsaber. Well, let's go to the other colors of lightsabers that we've seen in the Star Wars films. We know that Anakin Skywalker's first lightsaber and the lightsaber that Luke first receives from Obi-Wan Kenobi is blue. We know that Obi-Wan's lightsaber was blue. And then we know that Luke's second lightsaber that he built on Dagobah while he was being trained by Yoda, which you can see a deleted scene that was taken out of, I think it was taken out of Return of the Jedi, where Luke is actually building his lightsaber, his new one, the green one. Well, so we know there's blue and green, and we know that Darth Vader had a red lightsaber. So let's explain blue and green. From what I know, a blue lightsaber is carried by the warriors or the fighters of the Jedi. The green lightsaber was usually carried by the Guardians. Now, the Guardians are the ones who usually, they lived within the wisdom of the Force. They were the scholars of the Jedi Order. They were the scholars of the Force. They were the ones who sought the wisdom and knowledge of the Force. And the blue Guardian, the blue saber-wielding Guardians, were the ones that actually went out. They were the fighters. They were the ones that went out and fought. So Green Guardians, which is Yoda, Luke's second saber. I'm not really sure who else carried a green one. There's a ton of them. And then the blue were the fighters. So that's kind of what I understand of it. And we'll look it up later. So then you come to the Sith saber. Well, what you should know is that a lightsaber is powered by a Kyber crystal. And the way that a Jedi would receive his Kyber crystal is that basically the Kyber will call out to him. It emits a frequency that the Jedi will be able to hear, and it will call to him, and it will bring him to the crystal, and they have a connection through the Force, and that is what a Jedi will build his saber with. As far as I know, there are no red natural Kyber crystals, so how do Sith get their crystals? Well, we know the rule of two. There can only be two Sith, a master and an apprentice. But that doesn't, I don't know the whole mechanics behind when a Sith gets a red saber, but here is how a red Kyber crystal comes to be and how a red saber comes to be. A blue or a green Kyber crystal is taken from a Jedi, or it could be a Jedi who falls to the dark side, and they take their own blue or green Kyber crystal, and they perform a ceremony or a ritual or a process known as bleeding the crystal. And what that does is that they so much of the dark side of the Force is, I guess, driven through the crystal that it becomes red, that it is now a dark side crystal rather than a crystal of the light. So, bleeding the crystal creates a red kyber crystal for a red lightsaber. So, I've seen one other color lightsaber, a silver or sometimes considered white lightsaber that Ahsoka from Rebels and also from Clone Wars, the animated series. She has, in Rebels later on, after she leaves the Jedi Order, she has a white or silver lightsaber. Well, this happens when, from what I understand, is when a Jedi leaves the Order, the crystal may lose its color because they're no longer associated with the light side of the Force, maybe? And also, a crystal that has gone through the process of being bled to become a Sith crystal may also be brought back, but it can't be brought back to its blue or green state. It's going to become colorless or white or silver. So there you go. There's the different variations that you have and the reasons that I know they exist. So let's go back to the purple lightsaber. What I like to say, rather than just saying Samuel L. Jackson wanted a purple saber because it's his favorite color, in Revenge of the Sith, when Mace Windu confronts the Emperor, and this is going to go deep, this is going to get really sweaty into the Star Wars universe, and this is just my theory. I don't think I've ever seen this theory out there. It's just one I've pieced together in my head, is that when Mace Windu finally confronts the Palpatine, before he becomes the Emperor full-on and his face is disfigured, you can see Mace almost channel the dark side of the Force, and Mace comes really close to defeating the Emperor before Anakin shows up and decides to lop his arms off. So, could it be that somewhere in Mace's history, possibly, that he somehow learned to tap into the dark side of the Force but not completely succumb to it? So therefore, you've got a blue saber getting close to becoming a Sith saber, but now it lies in the middle. Blue and red make purple! So, I don't know, it sounds good to me. It sounds pretty logical to me that Mace Windu somehow got to the line of becoming a Sith, or got to that line of crossing over to the dark side. So close to it that his actual linked kyber crystal, the one that was linked to him through the Force, itself became very close to becoming a red crystal and also going to the dark side. So now his crystal resides between the two spectrums, and Mace Windu is able to channel the dark side of the Force when he needs it, yet never cross that line, which is why he also became very close. He was very close to defeating Palpatine in that scene in Palpatine's office before meeting his demise and losing an arm and being tossed out the window. So, that is my explanation of how a purple lightsaber exists. Just to recap, Mace Windu, really close to the dark side of the Force, never crosses the line. His blue saber comes along with him and stops just short and is a purple saber now. So, we're going to take a short break, and I'm going to play a nice little ad for participation trophies. And when I come back on the other side, we will look up on Wikipedia, the Wikipedia of Star Wars, which is very well curated by Star Wars fans, to see what it says about purple lightsabers. We'll be right back. Oops, did little Aiden get a B on his homeschooling project on making homemade soap? Has your kid been upset for longer than 5 minutes today? How about a participation trophy? Participation trophies are a great way to make all children feel inclusive of their social environment. Make your kid happy and give them an award for just being there. Side effects of participation trophies can be a loss of self-awareness, cowardice, the need for a security blanket into their teens, a lack of direction in education and career, bedwetting, loose stool when confronted with opposing views and opinions, overuse of social media, photographing their meals, an inability to look people in the eye when having a conversation, skinny jeans, the inability to change a car tire, unwavering need to have mom call the doctor for them, facial expressions and appearances as though they are smelling something bad, also known as resting bitch face, and the overwhelming need to cry when things don't go their way. So give your kid the gift of apathy. Slather on the antibacterial gel and hide them in their safe space until your Social Security check can't support them any longer. Participation trophies available at all gentrified communities in America. Okay, we're back. So, I am at Wikipedia. Like I said, this is the Star Wars Wikia page. You can go to starwars.wikia.com and search for all kinds of different topics in the Star Wars universe, and they will piece these things together from all the different parts of the Star Wars universe. Movies, comic books, video games, TV shows, animated series, toys, everything. So there are now 2 sections to the Star Wars universe. Before it was purchased by Disney from Lucasfilm, or George Lucas. Lucasfilm still in existence, now owned by Disney. But everything that came before, other than the original 6 films, was now considered to be called Legends. And then now the 6 films and some other material are now considered the canon. This is the story that everything else going forward will be based upon and is historical fact within the Star Wars universe. So Legends now are purely that. They are legends. They are lore. Legends can include all the novels that were written outside of the Lucas kingdom, and like the novels by Timothy Zahn, and video games and other animated series that appeared that they didn't want to carry over into the new Star Wars or further into the Star Wars universe that is now controlled by Disney. So, here is the canon explanation. I'm just going to read a short description here from the website itself. As one of the most notable... Well, hold on, let me read this paragraph first. Mace Windu's lightsaber was a Jedi weapon constructed by Jedi Master Mace Windu following his appointment as a senior member of the Jedi High Council. One of the most distinctive lightsabers in the Jedi Order due to its amethyst plasma blade. Windu would carry his weapon into battle on multiple occasions during the Clone Wars, in which he served as a Jedi general in the Grand Army of the Republic. The lightsaber was ultimately lost during a confrontation between Windu and the Sith Lord Darth Sidious, who then killed the Jedi Order's champion through the use of Force lightning. And then a little bit more of description below in the canon section. As one of the most notable members of the Jedi Order, Jedi Mace Windu carried a lightsaber distinguished by its unique amethyst plasma blade. Its distinctive color served as a warning to adversaries that the Jedi Order's greatest champion was ready to fight. Serving as his second lightsaber, Windu constructed after many years of experience and used the highest standards to make a superior weapon. In addition to a specially designed hand grip, the lightsaber's electrum finish indicated Windu's status as a senior member of the Jedi High Council. Now let's go over to the Legends section, which actually has a little bit more information than that first one did. As a Jedi initiate, Windu was able to see shatter points in the Force, allowing him to glimpse the future in brief visions. During these visions, Mace was able to see the lightsaber he would eventually build. This was a cause for concern within the Jedi Council, as Windu was unable to construct a weapon resembling the lightsaber he saw in his visions. At the age of 14, Windu requested a true challenge so that he would be able to find the parts necessary to build the lightsaber he saw in his visions. Upon his request, the Council sent him to the planet Hurricane alone. Upon his arrival, he was chased away by the natives, but was easily able to gain the upper hand with the Force. At one point, he caused one of the natives to shatter, but was able to painstakingly reconstruct the individual. As a result, the natives presented him with a violet-colored lightsaber crystal, which he used to finally construct the lightsaber he had seen in his visions of the future. That's not as exciting as my explanation. I don't know, man. I think maybe I need to send my idea over to Disney Lucasfilm and see if they can do, work it in. I think it's more exciting. Besides that, I would love to see a comic book or maybe even an animated short series of some sort showing how Mace could have possibly been drawn to the dark side of the Force but brought himself back. And that's why he has that purple lightsaber. I think that's a better story, personally. Just because he goes to some planet named after a weather system and, accidentally kills one of them but brings them back to life, and they say, oh, thank you for killing the guy and bringing him back. Here's a purple crystal. I don't like that explanation. But anyway, what do you think? Let me know what you think in the comments at our Facebook page or on Twitter. You can find us on Twitter. You can tweet us at What Happened Pod. You can find us on Facebook at What the Heck Happened? Just search for us in the box. And I don't know. I like my story better. It sounds like a Samuel L. Jackson, I mean, Pulp Fiction? Come on, man. Come on. You can just hear him saying, well, I'm not going to say it, but you know where I'm going with the MFR thing. But anyway, okay, well, thank you for listening to this episode of What the Heck Happened? Tom Explains. What does a purple lightsaber mean?